You think you can't succeed? Hold on, because if you give me just a few minutes, you will believe in yourself again. You might feel like everything's on your shoulders, like every setback is telling you to quit. But here's the truth. You have something special inside, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to prove it to you. We'll talk about confidence, dealing with failure, beating imposter syndrome, taking action, and mastering your mindset. And by the end of the video, you won't just understand why you should believe in yourself, you'll feel it in your bones. So let's get started. Also, if you make it to the end of the video, put a hashtag believe in the comments below, and we might feature you in a future video. Let's start with confidence. This is believing in our abilities. So confidence is the foundation of believing in yourself. If you don't think you can do something, you'll likely never try. But when you truly believe you can, you give yourself a real chance. As Henry Ford famously said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Attitude often determines outcome, and it's not just a slogan. Science backs this up. One study found that entrepreneurs with high self-confidence are 10% more likely to secure funding and 22% more likely to survive the turbulent early years of a startup. Think about that. Just believing in your vision makes you more likely to actually make it. So how do you build confidence when it's running low? Start by remembering what you've already accomplished. Write down a few wins you've had, no matter how small. Remind yourself of challenges you overcame in the past. This isn't just fluff. Small victories literally train your brain to feel more confident. When you achieve something, even something tiny, something small, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical, and that rewards you and reinforces the behavior that led to the success. So in other words, each little win creates a positive feedback loop that makes you feel even more capable. The more you acknowledge your progress, the more your confidence grows. Next, let's talk about failure and learning from setbacks. Failure, it's a word that scares so many entrepreneurs, but it shouldn't. The truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Roughly 90% of startups fail. So if you failed, guess what? You're normal. Every great entrepreneur has faced plenty of failure. What separates those who eventually win is that they keep going after they fail. Data shows that those founders who failed in a prior venture still have about a 20% chance of success in their next one, slightly higher than first-time founders. In other words, failure can actually make you stronger and wiser. Just look at Colonel Harlan Sanders, the founder of KFC. He was rejected 1,009 times when trying to sell his chicken recipe before one restaurant finally agreed to partner with him. Imagine if he quit after 100 rejections or 500 or 1,000 rejections. The world wouldn't have KFC today. His story shows that every no gets you closer to a yes if you keep going. So what should you do when you fail? You learn from it. Every failure has a lesson hidden in it. Science backs this up too. Researchers found that the regret you feel from a failure can actually push you to analyze what went wrong and do better on the next try. If your idea flops or your business struggles, ask yourself why. Maybe you were targeting the wrong customer, or maybe your product needs some changes. Take notes, make adjustments, and try again. Failure is only final if you quit. If you keep going, each failure just becomes feedback on the road to success. So embrace those stumbles as stepping stones on your journey. Next is imposter syndrome and overcoming that internal self-doubt. Ever feel like you're not as smart or capable as people think you are? Like any minute they'll find out that you don't belong? That's your imposter syndrome talking. And guess what? 87% of entrepreneurs have admitted to feeling imposter syndrome during their career. So if you're feeling it, you're absolutely not alone. Even the legends feel this way. Maya Angelou, a world-renowned author, once confessed, "I have written 11 books, but each time I think, uh-oh, they're gonna find out now. I've run a game on everybody, and they're gonna find me out." Imagine that. Someone as accomplished as Maya Angelou still felt like a fraud sometimes. And Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg has openly discussed her imposter feelings. If these incredible achievers can feel that doubt and still move forward, guess what? So can you. So how can you silence that imposter voice? First, recognize that if you feel like a fraud, it probably means you're stretching yourself outside your comfort zone, which is exactly where growth happens. Next, talk about it with someone that you trust. Seriously, just opening up can deflate that anxiety. Sheryl Sandberg herself from Facebook has spoken about her imposter syndrome. And guess what? Talking about it helps you realize it's just a feeling, it's not reality. When you share those doubts, you'll often hear, "Hey, me too," which makes that negative voice a lot less convincing. Finally, ground yourself in facts. Make a list of things you've accomplished or skills that you have built. When that "I'm a fraud" feeling comes, read that list. It's hard for your inner critic to argue with real evidence. You'll remind yourself that you do have what it takes. Over time, those imposter thoughts will fade and your confidence will grow. Next is action. We need to take initiative. All the positive mindsets in the world mean nothing without action. You won't achieve your goals by only planning or dreaming. You have to get out there and do something. It's normal to feel scared or to procrastinate when facing a big goal. But remember this saying, action is the antidote to fear. Entrepreneur and friend of the channel, Marie Forleo, puts it perfectly. The longer you wait, the more your doubts and fears can grow. But the moment you take even a small step forward, you start to build momentum and those fears begin to shrink. In fact, research shows that people tend to regret the things they don't do far more than the things that they do. One study found that 76% of people's biggest regrets were about opportunities not taken rather than mistakes made. So let's think about that. You don't want to look back years from now and wonder, what if? Even if an action doesn't lead to a result that you want, at least you tried and you learned. That's almost always better than doing nothing. So start taking action now, even if it's something small. Send that email to a potential mentor or client. Publish that first YouTube video or blog post about your business idea. Pick up the phone and make the call you've been putting off. It might be a little messy. It might be imperfect, and that's okay. An okay plan executed today beats a perfect plan that's never executed. You can't steer a parked car. You need to get moving to gain direction. When you act, you get real feedback from the real world. Maybe your product demo falls flat. Fine. Now you know how to improve it and make it better. Maybe the client says no. Okay, you learn and you refine your pitch. Each action you take teaches you something that builds your courage and confidence for the next step. So remember, momentum builds confidence. So fight the urge to overthink and just take that small step in front of you and do it now. Next, mindset. Embrace the growth. The final element is your mindset, specifically adopting a growth mindset instead of a fixed one. In very simple terms, a growth mindset means believing that you can improve your abilities through effort, learning, and perseverance. A fixed mindset assumes that your talents are just set in stone. Why does this matter? Because if you believe you can grow, you'll embrace challenges and keep going when things get tough. If you think you're stuck with what you have, you'll avoid challenges and give up easily. To put it simply, a growth mindset is necessary to succeed and move forward in the long run. Science backs this up. In one experiment, a group of new entrepreneurs were taught that their brains and skills could grow, which is the essence of a growth mindset. The result is those who learned this took significantly more initiative and turned their training into real business actions, improving their venture outcomes. They didn't have more resources or more time than the others. They just believed they could get better, and that made them try more things. Similarly, research shows that people with growth mindsets become more resilient after setbacks. They dust themselves off and they try again instead of throwing in the towel. So how can you develop this growth mindset? Start by reframing challenges and failures as opportunities. When you catch yourself thinking, I'm just not good at this, add one simple word. I'm not good at this yet. Remember, every master was once a beginner. Skills and talents can always be developed. Embrace the idea that you're always a work in progress. When something goes wrong, don't think, I'll never get it right. Instead, ask, what can I learn from this? How can I improve? This shift in thinking turns setbacks into that fuel for improvement. With this mindset, every hurdle becomes a stepping stone. You won't be defeated by your problems. You'll be energized by the challenge of solving them, making you essentially unstoppable. It's time to believe in yourself again. You gave me these few minutes. Now take these lessons to heart. Confidence. Trust yourself. When you think you can, you're halfway to making it happen. Failure. Don't fear it. Every failure is just an education in disguise, a step closer to your success. Imposter syndrome. That feeling is normal, even for the best. Don't let it stop you. You have earned your place. Action. Do something now. You'll regret the chances you don't take, so take the first step and build momentum. And mindset. Keep growing. With a learning mindset, no obstacle can stop you for long. So the next move is yours. You have all the tools, now use them. Go after your dream with everything you've got. Believe in yourself the way I believe in you. So get out there, do your best, and never stop believing in yourself. Believe. If you want to know the 5 common habits that can damage your confidence, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. You are accidentally destroying your own confidence without even knowing it. Sound dramatic? Maybe. But if you're like most entrepreneurs, you likely have a few daily habits that quietly chip away at your self-belief.